بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين حمدا كثيرا طيبا باركا فيه والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الخلق المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. We continue reading from Imam Al-Ghazali's Joy al-Quran with the Jews of Quran and Spares, and we have reached Surah Al-Talaq, divorce. We read the relatively speaking, it's a short surah, and we will try to explain, inshallah, the rules surrounding divorce as much as possible. بإذن الله عز وجل. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها النبي إذا طلقتم النساء فطلقوهن لعدتهن وأحصوا العدة واتقوا الله ربكم لا تخرجوهن من بيوتهن ولا يخرجن إلا أن يأتين بفاحشة مبينة وتلك حدود الله ومن يتعد حدود الله فقد ظلم نفسه لا تدري لعل الله يحدث بعد ذلك أمرا. O Prophet, when you intend to divorce, so you instruct the believers, you inform the community. If you reach the decision to divorce, then divorce them with consent for their waiting period. And this is very important. After the marriage is the consummation of marriage. Because if the marriage is not consummated, even after the legally, from a Sharia point of view, there is marriage, like in the sense of everything is, you have the witnesses, you have the dowries given, and everything is in place, but there is no consummation of marriage. It's a different rule. Then he should divorce her outside her monthly cycle, the menstruation, provided that he had not touched her after her period. This makes it easy for the wife to observe her iddah, the waiting period, of around 3 months. Otherwise, things will be complicated for her. For example, if divorce happens after sexual intercourse, she might get pregnant, which delays the end of the iddah until the end of her pregnancy, when she gives birth. If divorce happens during a monthly cycle, scholars are in disagreement as to whether the divorce counts or not. If it does not, she has to wait until her menstruation is over to see if her husband still wants to divorce her. And the rationale behind this is that maybe the lack of intimacy in this case, talk about the sexual intercourse, might have affected his decision. And in fact, by staying in the home, لا تخرجوهن من بيوتهن, that don't force them out of their homes. So let's read, and fear Allah your Lord, واتقوا الله ربكم, do not force them out of their homes, nor should they leave unless they commit a blatant misconduct. These are the limits set by Allah, and whoever transgresses Allah's limits has truly wronged his own soul. You never know, perhaps Allah will bring about a change of heart later. During her stay at home after she has been divorced, and they might restore the marriage, they might simply go back to each other. It could be after the end of her waiting period. There's different rule for that. So you can revoke the divorce by simply, because they are together, by simply having intimate relationship. That's basically revoking the divorce. You can do it twice, not in the same setting, not in the same context. So if you divorce, then you just simply go back together, and after a few months, after a year, after, you just divorce again, and you go back together. If she completes her iddah, her waiting period, there is a need for a new marriage contract, a new dowry. After the third time, there is no possibility of revoking that divorce, and they cannot go back together unless she is married to another man and that man divorces her, but not for the purpose of reuniting the first, her ex, if you will. فإذا بلغن أجلهن فأمسكوهن بمعروف أو فارقوهن بمعروف وأشهدوا ذوي عدل منكم وأقيموا الشهادة لله ذلكم يوعظ به من كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر ومن يتقوا مخرجا. Then when they have almost reached the end of their waiting period, either retain them honorably or separate from them honorably. A husband may separate from his wife after each of the first 2 counts of divorce, or at the end of her waiting period with dignity. If he chooses to stay with her after the first 2 counts of divorce, then divorces her for a third time, the marriage is terminated That's it. At the end of her third waiting period, the wife will have to marry and divorce another man before she can be remarried to her ex husband. However, a woman marrying someone with the intention of getting divorced in order to return to the first husband is forbidden. The dignity issue, the being honorable, the fact that you divorce either calculated divorce in the sense of you, you have made the decision not out of not in a moment of anger, for example. A mufti, there is a need for a ruling if the divorce takes place or not. If one divorces in a state of anger, that is where he is not in control of his own behavior, in the sense of it, just uh, he got mad, as we say, for whatever reason, justifiably or not, then that divorce might not take place. You always ask the Mufti, a Muslim scholar, specialized. They will ask questions to understand in what state of mind one issued the divorce. But if you decide to divorce, you do not talk about each other. Never. You don't say she is, she was, and she doesn't say anything about him. Okay? It's very cruel to say anything. If you decide to divorce, this is it. I know from cases in courts, in Sharia courts. I know people who divorced. I know people who divorced very honorably, not mentioning at all the reason. They simply reached the conclusion. Both of them were very honorable, very well educated, respected members of the society, both of them, and they never said anything about why. And no one has the right to 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 dig. And there was also I knew a case whereby the case became ugly, like in front of the judge. One of my former students. The case became very ugly. The way his family, his father spoke about the young woman. If there's anything, just simply, if there's really something, if there is really something, you don't have to say that. If there is something, don't say it. So the idea of dignity, of honor, being, to do things honorably is highly recommended. Remember, you were married. Sometimes people divorce after decades. Sometimes they divorce within days. As a youngster, I remember that almost no one divorced in town. Almost no one divorced. Now the rate of divorce in Palestine is almost 50% or exceeded 50% amongst newlywed couples. So the older people do not divorce that much. The younger ones, they are. It's almost half the young men and women will end up in divorce. It means their understanding of the institution of marriage, of the nature of the relationship, is not healthy. There's something missing. The Quran wants this relationship to be based on tranquility, mercy, not a drama. Not This is not a TV show. This is not a soap opera. A marriage, a family means lots of work on daily basis from both sides. ويرزقه من حيث لا يحتسب ومن يتوكل على الله فهو حسبه إن الله بالغ أمره قد جعل الله لكل شيء قدرا ومن يتق الله يجعل له مخرجا ويرزقه من حيث لا يحتسب ومن يتوكل على الله فهو حسبه إن الله بالغ أمره قد جعل الله لكل شيء قدرا. These are two verses that Imam Ghazali chose, and of course we have the next two verses also. ومن يتق الله يجعل له من أمره يسرا ذلك أمر الله أنزله إليكم ومن يتق الله يكفر عنه سيئاته ويعظم له. Except that we do have the full verses. So end of verse 2 and verse 3. Then, and whoever is mindful of Allah, He will make a way out for them and provide for them from sources they could never imagine. And whoever puts their trust in Allah, then He alone is sufficient for them. Certainly, Allah achieves His will. Allah has already set a destiny for everything. A destiny, qadra, allotment might be more accurate. واللائي يئسن من المحيض من نسائكم إن ارتبتم فعدتهن 3 أشهر واللائي لم يحضن وأولاة الأحمال أجلهن أن يضعن حملهن حملهن ومن يتق الله يجعل له من أمره يسرا. As for women past the age of menstruation, in case you do not know, their waiting period is 3 months, and those who have not menstruated as well. As for those who are pregnant, their waiting period ends with delivery, and whoever is mindful of Allah, He will make their matters easy for them. Inshallah. So, about the pregnant women, it applies to both pregnant women who are divorced or pregnant women who are or become widows. In the case of widows, the longer the longer period is the one that should be considered, in the sense of, if the pregnancy exceeds the waiting period of a woman who is pregnant. So if she still has 6 months, for example, until she gives birth, then it's her giving birth that the end of her counting, of her iddah, of her waiting. If it's shorter, like she gives birth in, let's say she gave birth 1 week after her husband passed away, no, she's still in her iddah, and she completes the iddah of a widow. About those وَاللَّائِي لَمْ يَحِضْنَ, those who have not menstruated, you have a small percentage women who never menstruated. They will never menstruate. A small percentage. This is known as primary amenorrhea, and it could be anything. It could be genetic disorder. It could be hormonal imbalance. And you have secondary amenorrhea, and still a small percentage, but it's larger than the first case. I know of a woman who, after she gave birth, she did not have her period. I mean, she's a young woman, newlywed. She did give birth, alhamdulillah, but after that, she did not menstruate. Now she is. So this is secondary amenorrhea. A woman, I think men should be taught in school all these things. They should learn about what women go through, the hormonal changes. I think they should learn about polycystic. They should teach the girls when talk about polycystic ovary syndrome. Yeah, I think it's more widely spread, but they need to be taught. I would say even some physicians should be reminded about this as well. Maybe one day we can speak about medical ethics and problems related to this. But this is really a part of the story of women who never or they menstruate. They still need to have the iddah. They still need to wait. What if? What if? What if she did ovulate and she got pregnant after a period of no menstruation? So her, like, what's supposed to be her first period did not take place, like she did not menstruate, there was no bleeding because she got pregnant. That's also a possibility. Subhanallah. ذلك أمر الله أنزله إليكم ومن يتق الله يكفر عنه سيئاته ويعظم له أجرا. This is the commandment of Allah which He has revealed to you, and whoever is mindful of Allah, He will absolve them of their sins and reward them immensely. أسكنوهن من حيث سكنتم من وجدكم ولا تضاروهن لتضيقوا عليهن وإن كن أولات حمل فأنفقوا عليهن حتى يضعن حملهن فإن أرضعن لكم فآتوهن أجورهن بمعروف وإن تعاسرتم فسترضع له أخرى. Let them live where you live, like during their waiting period, according to your means, and do not harass them to make their stay unbearable. If they are pregnant, then maintain them until they deliver. And if they nurse your child, this means after the divorce has been finalized, compensate them and consult together courteously. But if you fail to reach an agreement, then another woman will nurse the child, the baby, for the father. I think a simple calculation. If she had worked the same work, the house chores outside her home, she could make. I'm talking about in general. She could basically have a monthly salary of a certain amount. So if she has been dismarried, let's say for 10 years, like it's the equivalent of 120 salaries. 20 years, that's 240 salaries. I'm saying this because sometimes there are those who think that if she eats, she's dressed, and then that's it. There's something wrong about this, especially if let's say that she does not have siblings, her parents passed away. لينفق ذو سعة من سعته. ومن قدر عليه رزقه فلينفق مما آتاه الله لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا ما آتاها سيجعل الله بعد عسر يسرا. Let the man of wealth provide according to his means. As for the one with limited resources, let him provide according to whatever Allah has given him. Allah does not require of any soul beyond what He has given it. After hardship, Allah will bring about ease. This is very important that the when He provides for her, it should be relative to His income, to His wealth. وكأي من قرية عتت عن أمر ربها ورسله فحسبناها حسابا شديدا وعذبناها عذابا نكرا. Imagine how many societies rebelled against the commandments of their Lord and his messengers. So we called each society to a severe account and subjected them to a horrible punishment. فذاقت وبال أمرها وكان عاقبة أمرها. So they tasted the evil consequences of their doings, and the outcome of their doings was total loss. أعد الله لهم عذابا شديدا فاتقوا الله يا أولي الألباب الذين آمنوا قد أنزل الله إليكم. Allah has also prepared for them a severe punishment, so fear Allah. O people of reason and faith, Allah has indeed revealed to you a reminder. A reminder, dhikr is one of the names of the Qur'an. رسولا يتلو عليكم آيات الله مبينات ليخرج الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات من الظلمات إلى النور ومن يؤمن بالله ويعمل صالحا يدخل جنات تجري خالدين فيها أبدا قد أحسن الله له رزقا. And sent a messenger reciting to you Allah's revelations, making things clear so that He may bring those who believe and do good out of darkness and into light. And whoever believes in Allah and does good will be admitted by Him into gardens under which rivers flow, to stay there forever and ever. Allah will have indeed granted them an excellent provision. الله الذي خلق سبع سماوات ومن الأرض مثلهن يتنزل أن الله على كل شيء قدير وأن الله قد أحاط بكل شيء علمه. Allah is the one who created seven heavens in layers, created seven heavens. And likewise for the earth, the commandment, divine commandment, descends between them, so you may know that Allah is most capable of everything, and that Allah certainly encompasses all things in His knowledge. So the bottom line is marriage is considered a mithaq ghalid. It's a covenant. She did not get married because she did not have food or clothing. People get married because they would like to not only establish a family, because the family is one way of fulfilling the vicegerency on earth, so that you may worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala together, hand in hand. Think about it this way. Think about it this way. Would you like to end up in paradise together, inshallah? Then ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that both of you will go to paradise with your relatives, with your offspring, with your siblings, with your friends. But talk about spouse. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you will enter paradise together and work for it. Work on it, make it successful while divorce is ultimately permissible. There are still many rulings about divorce. It might not be the solution for, and should not be the solution for any minor thing, especially things that belong to taste, personal taste. Give yourself space. Both of you should always create room for the other. Subhanallah. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless your family with tranquility, with sakina. Love is beautiful, but really the family needs lots of service, lots of hard work. Inshallah, in the next session, we'll read from Surah Tahrim, where Imam Ghazali chose one verse only as a pair. But until then, سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.